so glad to have you. We're glad that you're able to tune in, watch online in your PJs, in your kitchen, in your living room. It's finally April here in City Kids, and we're so excited. We have a new theme. We love our themes. Ashley, what's your theme in preschool this month?
We are celebrating the fact that Jesus is alive this month.
Yes, and we are talking about humility and being humble and how Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. Now, we're going to talk about Easter Sunday. We're going to talk about how we got to the cross, how Jesus was able to just save the world. So, Ashley, will you tell the beginning of that story for us?
Yeah, so when Jesus was here on earth and he was traveling around, he was so popular.
Yes.
Everyone wanted to crowd around him and see the miracles he could perform and the healings that he performed and things like that. However, not everyone loved Jesus.
Yeah. Everybody wasn't as enthusiastic about him as they could have been. There were a specific group of people called the Pharisees. And the Pharisees, they were pretty upset with Jesus. They didn't like how he just came in and ruined their whole story that they had. So, what happened next?
So, Palm Sunday happened next. Jesus came to Jerusalem. But before it was Palm Sunday, it was just like any other Sunday, a normal Sunday, until someone said, "Hey, Jesus is coming." They were so excited. People went and cut palm branches off of trees and laid their coats on the ground. So when Jesus came into the city riding on a donkey, he rode on top of their palm branches and coats. And they said, "Hosanna, Hosanna."
Yes. Now this story, we're getting to the good part, but I think we can come up with a more fun way how to tell this story. So Ashley, you wanna let's figure out a fun way to tell this story. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
But there was another person moving among a different crowd and plotting a sneaky plan. It was Judas, one of Jesus' closest followers. He was going behind Jesus' back and meeting with the religious leaders.
What did you willing to give me if I turn Jesus over to you guys? I'm sorry, I can't hear ya. So, what are you willing to give me if I turn Jesus over to you guys? I can't quite make out what you're saying.
I said, what are you willing to give me?
If I turn Jesus over to you guys. He does it, wise guy. How's about 30 pieces of silver?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Jesus knew about Judas's plan to betray him, but he also knew that he had to go through with everything that was coming, no matter how hard or difficult it may be. He knew he had to face it head on without defending himself. He chose the way of humility. He gathered his closest friends so they could celebrate the Passover meal together.
Oh, mon ami, this is how you say magnifique.
The croissant all covered in butter?
It is too much, no? I could eat maybe un more souffle.
Jesus ate with his friends, but remember, it was the Passover feast, so there were no croissants and no souffle. And the mood wasn't exactly how these Frenchmen depicted it. At least for Jesus it wasn't. You see, Jesus knew that the next few days would be very difficult for his friends and for himself. So he wanted to prepare his friends for what would happen next. After he shared the Passover meal with them, he led them on a walk out of the city. Jesus told them, "In a little while, you will no longer see me. Then after a little while, you will see me. I came from the Father and entered the world. Now I'm leaving and going back to the Father." The disciples must have looked around at one another, unsure of what to say. They loved this man named Jesus, and they didn't want to see him go. All except one, Judas, who had already left them by then to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Jesus led the disciples to the Mount of Olives. Listen to the conversation between Jesus and Peter.
This very night, you will all turn away because of me.
All of the others may turn away because of you, but I never will.
What I'm about to tell you is true. It will happen tonight. Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you do not know me.
I may have to die with you, but I will never say I don't know you.
Me too.
Jesus' friends pledged their love and loyalty, but Jesus knew what was about to happen. When they reached the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus asked the disciples to stay a while he went off to pray.
Yep, got it. We'll just take a little breather.
Yeah, okay. Maybe just a short break would be nice.
Save me a spot on that rock, okay?
As the disciples all found a spot to sit and rest, Jesus asked that Peter, James, and John come along with him just a bit further down the path into the garden. There, near a small grove of ancient olive trees, Jesus spoke again. His voice was heavy with grief. He said, "My soul is very sad. I feel close to death. Stay here, keep watch with me." Then Jesus went a little further to pray. Peter, James, and John meant to stay up and keep watch like Jesus had asked them to.
Well now, ain't we in a mighty fine pickle?
Partner, we ain't fixing to go nowhere.
You heard Jesus. We're here to keep a lookout while he's gone off yonder.
It's just that. The sun's gone down, and I'm about ready for some shut-eye.
Yep.
Ooh, I am feeling mighty weary.
While Jesus' 3 cowpokes, or his friends, tried to stay awake, Jesus prayed. He said, "My Father, if it is possible, take this cup of suffering away from me. But let what you said be done. I do not want what you do not want." Jesus returned to where he had left his 3 friends. It seems that instead of waiting and keeping watch, Peter, James, and John all fell asleep.
Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? My Father, is it possible for this cup to be taken away? But if I must drink it, may what you want be done.
Jesus went back to pray a 3rd time. Again, he asked God if there was any other way. But at the same time, he trusted God's plan. Jesus returned to the sleeping disciples and woke them. He knew the time had come. A large crowd had arrived, sent by the chief priests and elders. Judas was with them. Jesus said, "The Son of Man is about to be handed over to sinners. Get up, let us go. Here comes the one who is handing me over to them." Judas had told the mob he would identify the man to be arrested with a simple kiss on the cheek. He went straight over to Jesus and kissed him on the cheek. Jesus looked at Judas and said, "Friend, do what you have came to do." The mob surged forward to grab Jesus and arrested him. Peter swung his sword and cut off the ear of the high priest's servant. But Jesus told Peter to stop. He knew that he had to be arrested. It had to happen that way. He reached out and healed the servant's ear. Jesus spoke to the crowd. "Am I leading a band of armed men against you? Do you have to come out with swords and clubs to capture me every day? I sat in the temple courtyard teaching, and you didn't arrest me. But all this has happened so that the words of the prophet would come true." so much fun. Who was that storyteller? I don't know.
Yeah. In my church.
I don't know. That was funny, but we're so glad that we could tell that story with you. Jesus, he was the ultimate sacrifice. He chose what God wanted over what he wanted, and that's pretty commendable. What do you think?
Yeah, it was hard, but he chose to trust in God's plan instead of doing what was easy.
Yeah.
And he followed God's plan so that he could rescue us.
Yes. So we're so thankful for this Sunday that we've had with you guys, just to dig deep and to learn more about who Jesus is and more about the story of Easter. So we can't wait to see you Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Lunch Break with Britt on Zoom. See you next Sunday, guys.
Bye, guys.